Hey guys, welcome to my e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush series where I create a makeup look based on every blush in the new e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush line. Yesterday we did Peach Perfect. Today we are doing Dusty Rose. Isn't that beautiful? I love this color. I think it's gorgeous. So today I decided that I am doing a monochromatic look. So we're doing all Dusty Rose today. So if you haven't seen the first video in this series, what I do is I do my base makeup and my brows, and then we take it from there. So that the first product that I put on is blush. Now, there are many, many different ways of doing makeup, and some people feel as if there's a right way and a wrong way. I encourage you to experiment with the techniques that you use to do makeup because what works for you personally might not be the same as somebody else, and everybody has their own way of doing things. So don't let anybody tell you that there's a right way and a wrong way to do makeup. So you do you and have fun with it. That's the most important thing. So what I am going to do is these are super, super pigmented blushes. So I like to wipe the excess off back into the container. And then I like to just take one dot and place it right about there. And then I'm going to use the e.l.f. liquid blush brush. And I'm going to blend it upward and outward from there. And then kind of bring the brush back a little bit. And then start using small circular motions. And that's about as much blush as I like personally. Like I said, you do you. Everybody likes different amounts of blush. Everybody likes their blush placement different. Some people like to take it down onto their cheek. Some people like a lot. Some people only like a little. So you do you. And don't let anybody tell you different. Okay, so we're just doing, one dot on each side. And try to make your dots the same size so that you end up with the same amount of blush on both sides of your face. Okay, so it looks like I have just a tiny bit more on this side. So I'm going to take what's left of my brush and go back to the side I started with so that hopefully I end up with the same amount. It doesn't have to be perfect, you guys. You just want to get like in the ballpark. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter, and this is shade 1 Fair. And I'm going to take a little bit of this and just tap it onto a makeup sponge. And I'm going to dot that on my face in the highlight area. Then I'm going to turn the makeup sponge and pat it in. And then take what's left and do the other side. And if you put the right amount on the sponge, you should have exactly the amount that you need to do your whole face. It helps when you have the right shade, and e.l.f. expanded their range of shades. So if you bought this before and you weren't happy with the results of it, take another look at the range because they did add quite a few shades, because I never used to like it that much before, but that's because I didn't have one of the newer shades that they added. So now that I have this, I like it and use it pretty much on a daily basis lately. Okay, so let us move on to the eyes. I'm going to use the e.l.f. No Budge Matte Shadow Stick in the shade Bombshell because this is a dusty rose eyeshadow. And these can be used as a base. They can be used alone. You can layer products over them. You can do whatever you want to do. And today I'm starting with this. And I'm going to use this brush. You have to move quickly with these though, you guys, because they do set up fast. But once they set, they're not going anywhere. So I'm going to put some of this on my lid and in the crease and try to get it in the area that I want. So I'm just going to blend it out with a brush. So when I'm done, I want this on my lids and in the crease in the configuration that I want my eyeshadow to be. So I'm going to put a little bit more in the outer area because the makeup doesn't tend to stick there as well for me, I have found. And I already have my eyes primed with concealer. That's what I've been doing lately, is just using concealer. And that's working out okay for me. But you know, it depends on the eyeshadow formula that you use, because there are some especially powder eyeshadows that don't respond well to concealer, so you just kind of have to feel it out. But I know from past experience that these matte shadow sticks work great over just, you know, my concealer. Okay, so that is set. It sets up quickly, like I said. And we're just going to do one eye at a time. I usually do the second eye off camera just so that the video isn't crazy long. The next product that I'm going to use is probably my favorite eyeshadow palette of all time. I know that's a bold statement, but how many times have you bought an eyeshadow palette and then decluttered it because it was old and you didn't feel comfortable using it anymore and repurchased it? That has happened to me maybe 2-3 times in my whole life. And when I had to declutter this palette, I immediately went out and bought it again. And it's got makeup on it. Let's wipe that off. Yeah, and I always see this at Walmart when I go there to buy groceries, when I'm over in the makeup section. And what am I talking about? The Profusion Kaleidescope palette. This has got such a great range of colors and textures in it, and we are going to use that today over that pink No Budge shadow stick that I just used. But yeah, I have repurchased eyeshadow palettes a second time so few times in my life. And a lot of times it's because companies discontinue things, but I really hope Profusion never discontinues this because, in my opinion, this is one of their standout palettes for sure. Okay, we are going to use the shade Echoes. And that is right here. And it is a dusty rose, this one. And I'm going to put that on my lids. Now, you can use a brush, but I find that if I'm just patting something on top, sometimes your finger will work just as well. So I'm just going to swirl my finger right in the product and set it down so that I don't drop it. And I'm going to pat that right on my eye. How pretty is that, you guys? It's this beautiful dusty rose shade. Yeah, there are all different textures of shadows in this palette. Some even have almost like a cream feel to them. And some are just straight up powder. But this color, I thought, is the epitome of dusty rose, and I definitely wanted to use it. So see, working, just tapping that on with my finger worked fine. Another thing that I really like about this palette is over on the side here, they have all these super neutral colors that you can use in the crease or as a transition color or whatever you want. The only thing that does not get used in here is the bottom row are chunky glitters. So I'm not a fan of chunky glitter, but other than that, this palette gets a lot of use. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my L'Oreal Infallible eyeliner in navy because, like I always say, blue is a neutral for me. And I'm going to pop that on my waterline. I'm going to curl my lashes. Yeah, I can think of very few palettes in my life that I have actually repurchased. But a lot of times, like I said, it's because the companies don't keep making the same things. But I knew I had to have that in my collection when I decluttered it last time. Not the last time I did a declutter, but the time before. Okay, so of course we are using the CoverGirl Lash Blast Cleantopia mascara in the shade Ultramarine because I love this mascara and it's the perfect accompaniment for this dusty rose. Dusty rose and navy, yes please. Bottom lashes first, because if I don't, then I will get transferred. I think I bought more CoverGirl this year than I've ever bought products from that brand in 1 year. They had a good year, but e.l.f. had a great year. e.l.f. has just been killing it, and these Camo liquid blushes, I can't believe I'm doing a whole series based around a blush line. I've never done that before. So I hope you like the idea of this, because I know that there are some blush girlies out there that love their blush. All right, I'm going to shut the camera off and play catch up with the other eye and be right back. Okay, so that is all I'm doing on the eyes. I'm not doing a wing or anything else underneath the eyes because sometimes less is more, you know? Sometimes you just want to keep it simple. So let's move on to the lips. So I'm going to use the e.l.f. Cream Glide Lip Liner in Pinky Swear. These liners are $2 and they are every bit as good as high-end liners. I do have a little bit of my Jeffree Star lip oil still on my lips, but I think it'll be okay. Because I'm just lining, I'm not going to fill. And for a lipstick, I'm using one of the e.l.f. O Face satin lipsticks, and we're using the shade dirty talk because this is Dusty Rose, I would say. This is a great color. This has gotten a lot of use since I bought this. And that is the finished look. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel if you do. And so that's my Dusty Rose look today. Monochromatic, simple, straight to the point. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.